All right. I think we are on air. Let me go over here and check here and see whether or not I am. I think I am. Oh, I think there it goes. I think I am. All right. Let me know if the volume's too low or too high or whatever. Who do we got here? Pottsville, PA, England, San Fran. Sounds good. Does it carry? Okay, good to know. You know, this is the new system. Looks like we got Atlanta here, Swedenland, Oregon. You know, Ohio, England. What's up, buddy? London, another Ohio. Guitar volume is never too high. Yeah. Let me know if the mic volume is too low. I have to use the big condenser because my lav mics won't work with the new system. The TRSs actually cancel each other out, and it's like out of phase. So we got Whitman, Australia, New Haven, Greece, Paris, Germany, New York. Canada. Sorry, I looked away for a second. Atlanta, Georgia. Texas. Ohio, Gettysburg, New York. Mic volume is perfect. Great. Good to hear. Tennessee. What's up, Tennessee? I'm late by 1 minute, I know. You know what? I couldn't get the audio to work. The audio wasn't working. I was like, oh no. Do you see what's going on right there? Do you see who's in my... Right here in my guitar case, right? I don't know. How do I move my arm here? The lighting is low. I can actually bring that up a bit. All right, hold on. If that is the case, hold on. You change the lighting. You think the lighting's a little... The lighting's actually bright. I think I might have it just turned down a little bit. Hold on, I can't look at the screen for a sec. Let me see if... should be able to just bring that up a hair. Oh, like that. Is that a little better? I don't want to go too over pushed, you know. Let's see if that... Sorry, I can't even look at the comments because I'm looking at that other one. What's up? Do I own any tube amps? A few. Actually, I'm playing through a new rig tonight. This is a killer preamp from R&R Amplification, and I'm on the Crunch channel. Hamilton, Ontario. Yo, Detroit, Michigan. This is the Rosewood neck telly. I put a brand new set of 11s on it, and I'm just really loving it, you know. Scotland. One of my thoughts on Prince. I really loved Prince, you know, as a musician and a guitar player. He seemed a bit of an odd bird, but he was eccentric. What can you say? You know. I got Essex. You like Steve Vai's music? Sure. You know. Thomas from Lafayette. Get some Yonkers. Little Roseburg, Oregon, New Zealand. Is the Rosewood neck smooth? Yeah, very. It's nice. Jasper, Indiana. Yeah, it's got crazy crunch, huh? And then I got high gain. Or we can go clean, which is really like a push. There it is. There's all three channels. I love this thing. It's from R&R Amplification. I'll be doing a video on it as soon as I can. I'm so flooded with videos to do that it might be a couple of weeks, but I had to sneak it in tonight. Long Island, Taylor, Michigan. That's on the Super Dirty channel. It cleans up so nice. So I'm running the preamp into my the effects return on a Fuego X, and then that's running out into the reload box, and then that goes out into the interface, and we add the cab and the reverb and the effects. How was Baby Metal? It was interesting. Right, well, I was there. I felt like the singer had pitch problems all night, but, you know, I got to hand it to her. She was singing, you know. It wasn't like a total lip sync, you know, craziness. The players were clearly playing, and the guys in that band, you know, let me just talk about that for a second. Every year, a buddy of mine, John, we go to see Steel Panther, right? We go every year. And this year, Steel Panther wasn't coming around. They were going to the Midwest instead of here. So they weren't coming to town. And then I saw Baby Metal on, like, Colbert. And then I saw that they were playing the House of Blues, and that's where we always see Steel Panther. So I emailed him. I said, I'm just throwing this out there. What if we substitute? There's no Steel Panther this year. What about, instead of Steel Panther, what if we go to Baby Metal? And he says, let me check him out. And he emailed me back. He goes, dude, that looks awesome. He goes, it looks like I could be totally awesome or a total train wreck. Either way, I'm in. I'm like, good. So we picked up some tickets, and it turned out to be like the hottest ticket in town. When I tell you that place was like pandemonium, for as busy as the Steel Panther concerts get in there, you know, and I've been in that venue many times, that was easily the largest audience I've ever seen in there. And I believe the capacity is 2,500, and they were probably at capacity. It was pretty insane. And we waited, you know, we got there, and I noticed that they had a couple of buses, but they only had one pull cart, right? And in the pull cart is the equipment. So I'm like, dude, there's only one pull cart. I said, I don't think there's an opening act. You know, usually there's two buses and two pull carts. So I don't know, you know, unless they're... I said, I don't know what's going on, because the pull cart wasn't that big. And sure enough, they said doors open at 6. They didn't open doors until 8, because they probably realized after a lot of talking through interpreters that they didn't have an opening act. So, you know, we wound up waiting outside in like a cold rain for like 2.5 hours. When I tell you that line, like, snaked all the way down the length of Fenway Park, right? That's who's across the street is Fenway Park. So you're going all the way down the end of the street, and then like around the corner down into like Kenmore Square. It was like, it had to be over 1,000 people in line, and there was 2,500 people was the capacity, and it was just jammed. And you know what? They came out and they do their shtick, and you know, Baby Metal can be sort of broken down into like a formula, right? So it's a heavy metal riff, followed by sort of like cheerleading, right? And like some choreography move, followed by a verse that's very short. You like, don't stretch it out. And then straight into a major key, right? For a very poppy chorus. And then the cycle goes all over again. But I gotta say, you know, they're very well produced, and when you wear the earplugs, you can really hear like who's playing what, and they were clearly all playing, you know. And you know, those guitar players, they were shredding. They did a little thing together, you know. The whole band like sort of, they went off stage and the whole band stepped out and they did a little shred thing, and I was like, my friend John and I, we looked at each other, we were like, okay, that's pretty good. Not bad, you know. Yeah, you know, in many ways, it was the perfect substitution for Steel Panther, because it was that sort of, not to be like too stereotypical, yin and yang, right, of farce and actually pretty decent chops, right? So that's what Steel Panther's formula is. it's sort of like a goof, but at the same time, not really. They're actually pretty good. And the same with baby metal, right? So, and in some ways, it's sort of a goof, but in other ways, not really. And that's the way we saw it anyway. So, there's my review of baby metal. But, you know, I felt the lead singer at times had some pitch problems, but you know what? She went through it. And some tunes sounded really good. So, I'll say that I'd give it a B. I could probably go to that guitar extravaganza on Sunday night at PPAC. A buddy of mine has an extra ticket, but it's Mother's Day and I can't do it. My wife would kill me. There it is on like the mid channel, you know. I'm using a preamp from R&R, amplification. I tell you, man, I love this thing. Let me get it over to clean mode. It comes with a foot switch. It's built like a tank. I took it out. I was like, oh my god, this thing is like, it's so heavy. It's got 5 12AX7s, I think. I am in love with this preamp, right? This is the face of unbridled enthusiasm. And then there I am back to crunch again. And then full. And then you can back off. I like it. I'm a fan, and it's got really responsive knobs. So what I got to do is just sit there and just work out the knobs and come up with a bunch of different stuff. I think I can get like a really good plexi sound out of it, and like a pretty good maybe mezzo or like a soldano. It's pretty good. I really love this. You know. What is it? There it is. Something like that. Do I know any extreme? Not really, you know. Used to the... Then he's going like G7. Then it's always ending on D7. Anyway, there you go. And then what's that other one? Something like that. Any Buckethead? No, Buckethead was the alternate concert the night of Baby Metal. One dude was like, how could you go to Baby Metal instead of Buckethead? I said, because Buckethead will be back. He plays here pretty regularly. And, like, Baby Metal was the hottest freaking ticket in town. It's like, that was the show to be at. And I was there. Can you shred and melt my face? Probably not. Your face is looking pretty sturdy, bro. It's that one note shred. I know I need more A chord. Do you know any Prince? I know I used to. Isn't it like a... and so forth. You've seen the tapping at the beginning of Steve Vai's Building the Church. I haven't, but Steve Vai's tapping is really good. I mean, he's one of the... I think that he doesn't get credit for his tapping skills. You know, I think people maybe see him as more of like a pick shredder, but his tapping is just stellar. I mean, really, really good stuff, you know. The bass player in Baby Metal did a little tapping that was like, oh, whoa, geez, okay. Well, there you go. It's like that was pretty good, you know. What does the rosewood neck do for the tone? I'm not sure much. Certainly the feel is very different, though. You know, it's sort of this slightly rougher than maple, but you know, not quite as rough as like an open pore mahogany or a Paduke, if you've ever played, you know, that neck. You know, it's like smooth but not smooth. You can see the grain maybe a little bit, you know. So it feels like wood, if that makes sense. Like an old piece of driftwood we picked up down the beach. Yeah, the reason for the skunk stripe is because it's one piece, right? They just hammer the frets in the front, right? Hopefully cutting slots first. So they have to put the truss rod in through the back. That's the only way they can get it in there. What are your thoughts on Van Halen's Eruption? I think it's a masterpiece, right? It's sort of like, you know, when they talk about, I guess, shred guitar, they say like C note 1. Right, it's like Van Halen's Eruption. Right, it's the first example. He pretty much, I think I've said it before, he sort of shifted the whole paradigm of what it meant to be a really good guitar player. You know, we thought it was like one thing, and then Eruption came out, and we were like, whoa, well, okay. Never mind. You know? Did Mick Mars ever influence you in any way? I think so. I probably would hate to admit how much Mick Mars probably has influenced me because, you know, I never thought of Mick Mars as like the shred dude. I was always into like Van Halen and Randy Rhoads. But the reality is that the guy's the riffster. He's like Tony Iommi, right? He's like the riff master. He really does come up with the, and I know, you know, Nikki Sixx writes a lot, but he executes them, and he executes them with freaking balls. And that's all you got to be a good guitar player, right? Play with a little bit of balls, right? Play like you mean it, like you've been there before, right? That's, I think, my best advice to, like, you know, players. But, you know, at the same time, don't think you're just going to walk out there and do it all with attitude. That's not going to be enough. You still need to know how to play. But, you know, don't sit there and be all, oh, wait, where am I here? You know, it's like you really got to, you know, you got to be confident about it. That's all. And, you know, Mick Mars, for a guy who was fighting a pretty serious, debilitating, you know, lifelong, you know, disease where his bones are like literally fusing together, I'd say the guy made the best with what he had, you know, and with the hand he was dealt. I mean, really. I mean, it wouldn't any one of us here exchange places with them, right? If we could go and be the guitar player of Motley Crue and be like a family, of course. I love Mick Mars. I've seen Motley Crue probably 5 times live, and I gotta say, every time I saw them live, I thought they sounded pretty good. But that was I saw them in the 80s, and maybe there was a lot of deterioration along the way after that. I don't know. I probably last saw them, what was that big album in 87? Who's that guy? What was the one from 87? Come on, guys, help me. I'm waiting. What do you think of Ace's new album of covers? I actually like it. I thought that his Girls, 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 that's the one. Yeah, that was last tour I think I saw. Girls, Girls, Girls. That was it. I think that was 87, right? Yeah. So Dr. Feelgood was right. Was after that? Was that 88 or 89? How late was Dr. Feelgood? Because I'm trying to remember if they played that in one of the last shows I saw of them. So I definitely saw them on Girls, Girls, Girls. So all right. So Dr. Feelgood's 89. That was probably it. That was probably the 80s, right? That was probably it. That was probably the last time I saw Crue was in 89. Someone had a question up there that was a good question. I wanted to answer it. Hold on a sec. Where was it? Where did it go? When you think of the old Steinberger Transtrim, it's actually a work of genius. It works by different length strings. It's pretty crazy. Have you heard the new Chili single? I have not. I'll check it out. I'm assuming did they post a single on YouTube? I got to assume. Would the Rosewood neck be as stable as maple? I think so. Yeah. Steve, you're going to go see The Who. Roger has his voice better than what it used to be. You saw him a few weeks ago, and they were amazing. They played around here, I want to say, within the last 12 months. So, yeah, / Ace's album. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about, Ace's album. So, was it Bring It On Home, right? Is that the cover, right? That they do on there? I don't know who's singing that. That can't be Ace, right? Who's singing Bring It On Home on that? Is that Ace singing that track? Because who's ever singing Bring It On Home, man, that sounds good. That was I think I'm calling Bring It On Home the best track on the album. You need some neon in your man cave. I used to have a neon Budweiser sign that my dad got. It was a Miller Lite sign. And when it looked cool when you turned it on, but boy, the noise, the interference from that sign, everything in here would be like, from that thing. Yngwie was influenced by Deep Purple. Well, I think Yngwie said he was influenced by Ritchie Blackmore, right? I think he's said that in interviews, and Paganini, the old sort of shred violinists. Who are some of your other favorite YouTube guitarists? Rob Chapman. Yep, I love Rob Chapman, and a whole bunch of guys. I'm subscribed to and watch on a regular basis, like for years. And, Rob Scallon and Jared Dines and, Chappers. And I separately go to Lee's channel as well. I like Dimitov. I forget his name now. Dimmy. He's a really good guy. I like, what's it, the Caliph? The Olive, I can't think of that guy. Greg Koch, I follow that channel. I can't get enough of his playing. He's like just, so good. I'm a huge fan of his playing. Who else? Pete Cottrell. There's a whole bunch of guys. Plus all my buddies. Of course, Robert Baker and Tone King, and my buddies, my YouTube buddies, of course. But yeah, this is a black diamond. This is old. This is probably from the 80s. We used to carry these. They're cloth. I think I have one like this, and then all the rest are black. Oh, and Pete Thorne. God, how could I forget him? And of course, what's his name too? That guy who plays guitar. He's always standing and playing. That guy from Fretted Americana? Phil X. God, Jesus. It's almost beer time. Yeah, Greg Koch, he is funny as hell. Gregory Cockery. I love him. He's funny. Yeah, Phil X, Pete Thorne. Koch is corny, but you know what? It's it works. It's so bad, it's awesome, right? It's kitsch, it's camp. Rick Graham, not so much him. He just, he's depressing. Who can watch that guy play? It's like, it's like, do us all a favor and lob a finger off. Give the rest of us a chance. Yeah, E-Rock, I like E-Rock too. His arrangements are awesome. Oh, and Leo from Frog Leap Studios. His arrangements, I was just talking to Robert Baker about that. I was like, you know what? His production is right. I really love his production, So, there you go. How's that for a few? I'm probably on YouTube a little too much. Are you seeing this? You seeing this? It's like I can't leave a friggin' case open. I'm not eyeing. Are you eyeing any $300 guitars in the future? I'm not eyeing any guitars in the future. In fact, I probably got to unload a few because went a little crazy. It happens. But, I got nothing on the horizon that I know how I get, and I am not there, right? When I'm really getting going on a guitar, look out, but I'm not, it's like, it's hard after getting this and the other two Strats, and I just did a whole bunch of work on my, Chan Halen, the GVH, whatever you want to call it, the Chinese EVH, right? The Chof Gang. I got a fret file, and I said, well, if I'm gonna ruin a guitar, right? So I'll work on it. It actually came out awesome. It came out really good. So I totally rolled the fingerboard on that, and I totally dressed all the fret ends like little bullets, and I was stunned at how nice it came out. So. Well, I'll probably unveil that once I get together the cash for the pickups and stuff. That's why I got to sell a few guitars, raise some cash for some other projects. You know how it goes. Yeah, that's it. That's just it. I have, the Shelf Chan Chan. Exactly. Yeah, the real Wolfgangs are awesome. And this thing is playing more like a real, guitar that was made by, someone who looked at it. The other one, that neck was cut so sharp. I mean, it's like, be careful, you'll hurt yourself on the edge of that thing, And I think after playing a couple of the nice Fenders with the nice rolled edges, I started noticing it. I was like, dude, this thing's kind of sharp. And then that's when I said, all right, here we go. I'll go drop $22.50 on a fret file, a real one. or $28 it might have been, a nice one. The one from Fret Guru. Beautiful. You ever have any guitars with built-in effects? I don't think so. Try to remember if I was a kid, if my parents bought me one of those guitars with that little amp, but I don't think they ever did. I think a buddy of mine had one, but I never owned one. Do you like the LTDs? I like ESP and LTD. That's who was clearly sponsoring Baby Metal. And that was all ESP up there, which makes sense. The Japanese, band. I don't have any Warmouths, but I've played a bunch of Warmouth necks, and I like them. You can always tell because it has that side screw, right, to adjust the neck. It's kind of sweet. But I like them. I know that, Joe Hart had one or two, and he likes them, and Bobby signed a couple. What I mean by rolling, someone just said, what do you mean by rolling the neck? So when you get to the edge of the fretboard, like right there where the top sort of meets the side, that's supposed to be a little soft, right? They're supposed to like sand that a little bit so it's a little bit softer. And the really top end ones, they're rolled like so beautifully. I mean, it's like the corner of the most elegant iPhone. Right? So you get this like really sweet, like comfortable neck because the edge is, it's softened a bit, right? So it doesn't feel like a hard edge. The cheap guitars, they're just cutting a slab out. They don't really roll that. They might do a little bit, but, they don't spend a ton of time on it. So I did. And I really rolled it like really smooth, and I, rolled all the edges of the frets so they're all round, and, they have no sharp edges and everything. And then I used, you get a pack of polishing pads, and you just work one grit, and you start at 1,500, and you work to 12,000, and when you get to 12,000, let me tell you, you are in the zone. That thing is just beautiful. So nice. I won a Marauder contest. I don't know. I'll talk to the Panama guy. I think, I don't know if he's pushing the Marauder right now, but I might be able to make some headway on Fuego X. Are you familiar with Klopman pickups? I can't say that I am. Although that name sounds, I mean, it's, it's so odd. It sounds like it's familiar, but I'm not placing it. If I was going to buy an Ibanez and had about $1,300 to spend, any recommendations? Well, you don't have to spend $1,300 to get a nice Ibanez. You could probably get a decent old one. You got to bide your time, though, and just find the right one. But you could get like a nice 700 or 500 series, probably for half that money or even less. If your heart is set on dropping that kind of money, I think in the used market, it might be tight. See if you can get yourself, you might have a J Custom. $1,300 is right at the bottom end. If you put like 200 more in, you'd be owning a J Custom, right? Used, but you'd have one. At 1,300, it's sort of that, that land where I almost feel like a lot of their products in that range are a little overpriced. So maybe you can get a 3120, but a 3120, I mean, that to me is like a $699, $799 guitar. That's not a $1,399 guitar. So I say, don't spend your $1,300. You could probably get two sweet, like late 80s, early 90s Ibanez guitars, for that kind of money, maybe even three. Or you could, maybe tack a little bit more money in, get a J Custom. Good night, Banana Games. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Really appreciate it. What's the latest on the Ibanez Les Paul? Well, I'm glad you asked. Flush with my excitement over how the fretboard on the GVH did, I took what was left of the polishing pads, and granted they were sort of used up a little bit, but I polished the last like 2 frets on that board, and they came out freaking awesome. So, I mean, it's just a small, sort of proof of concept that applying the polishing pads and just working it a little bit, I can get those frets back to like their, early glory, and it looks like I can. So, the next thing for that, I've got the bridge, I've got the tailpiece. Really, I need pickups. And I'm probably going to put, when I had mine back in the 80s, I had DiMarzio Super Distortions in it. So, like, part of me feels like I should put Super Distortions in it. But another part of me says, no, you should put, like, just some gold-covered pickup in it, whether it's, a Duncan, 59, or, a DiMarzio, a PAF, or PAF Pro or something. Maybe a covered, I'm not really sure. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the gold, or if I'm going to go with the open bobbins and do the super distortions, because that's what I had when I was a kid. So, I don't know. Thoughts? Where's your buddy Bobby been? He texted me. He just bought a freaking sweet Jackson. He's going to be bringing that puppy over. And I was like, dude. He's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, man, what are you doing? He goes, well, you've been going crazy. You're going crazy. What do you think of lace sensor gold pickups, though? The gold is the, so I'm trying to think. The gold is like the 62. The silver's like is the gold the 60s, the silver's the 50s, and the blue is like the blues, and the red is like hot. I forget those now. What's the gold again? Is that like the 62? You think PAFs, yeah? Classic 57s, PAFs. DiMarzio has like their 36th anniversary PAF right now. That's getting some pretty good reviews. See, that's the hardest part. Go for the super distortions. Part of me really wants to do that because that's like the full-on nostalgia, Like, I didn't have it with the original pickups in it. By the time I bought it, the guy had already put Seymour Duncans in it. I mean, DiMarzio Super Distortions. Yeah, the 62. I think so, too. DANY. Yeah. I think so. Tri-Fluff's beard comber pickups in the Ibanez Les Paul. I wonder if those would be too hot. I'd have to find out. Are they like well, the Super Distortion would be pretty hot too. I mean, that's a hot pickup. So that's the other thing is, do I want to put a hot pickup in that? Or do I want to go more like the PAF and get that more vintage sound? Whole lot of humbucker? Oh, dude, now you're making sense, actually. Methuen Maz, what's up, buddy? Pay pretty fast. I keep slipping because I feel the frets are too low. I need the tallest ones. What are the tallest? Well, I don't know what the number series is, but certainly I'd just go with a medium jumbo. I mean, you could go jumbo, but some people don't like it. It feels a little too tall. But if you want the tallest fret, you get a jumbo, whatever that number works out to be. Ibanez Les Paul, the legal or the illegal. It's right in the middle, right? So this is the period, it's the transition Les Paul. So they don't make the diamond and the book top anymore, right? So that ended, I think, in 75, and the one I have is a 76. And so by then they go to the Guild headstock, but it's still the Les Paul body, and it's not until 78 that they slightly changed the body. So 76 and 77 are the transition years. When I was a kid, I had the 77. The one I have over there, I think, is the 77. And I think the one he sent me is the 76. But they both look the same. It's the Guild headstock with the Les Paul body. And yeah, 2 years. Yeah, because by 78, they were gone. See you, Scary Clown. Scary Clown 9. The name. How was Baby Metal? Oh, Garrett, you should have been there, bro. I almost texted you a photo right from there. Baby Metal was pretty awesome. You know, it was certainly the biggest show I've ever been to, like, in that venue. And the musicians were good. I thought the singer was a little off, and, you know, the formula wears off after a while. And there's no opening act, and it's about a 90-minute set. Good night, everybody. You know? So, pretty crazy. It was the most jam-packed I've ever seen the House of Blues. Just insane. Isn't there supposed to be more with John Finn? Guy's a genius. Yeah, I think one more. One more with John Finn. And then we'll be done. And he totally embarrasses me on the guitar. He's like, yeah, just play this. He's like, just play this. I'm like, okay. I'm like totally flubbing it up. I remember it now. Do you still use the Focusrite? Well, I got a new Focusrite. I never used that little one. That little one was for that one video. But I'm using the 18i20. I'm using my Scarlett right now. Let me tell you, this was a little scary. Trying to get this going. She's got her fucking face buried. Oh, look at this. Look at this shit. Seeing this? You seeing this? Oh, God. Yeah, I use the Scarlett Mix Control. You know, the Recording Revolution has a great video on that. He's the only guy who explained it where I could understand it. That guy at the Recording Revolution, if you've ever watched him. You ever played a Fernandez guitar? I have. I've played a few Fernandez over the years, but not recently. I don't think I played it at NAMM. You know, next year I'll have to make a point to play them because people always ask me about them. Are they still going? I think they are. She's got her head like jammed into like the lower bout. Like I think it's a Strat shaped, you know, Fender shaped friggin'. Oh God. Too funny. Yeah, that's my AC/DC shirt. God, I wish I thought of that. I'd be a multi-thousandaire. Thoughts on Rob Chapman's scallop signature? Does he have a scallop guitar now? I didn't see that. Scallop? What's your thoughts on Charvel's? I like them. I own one. I like them. I think they're fine. Yeah, the Catacaster. The Strat and the cat and the Strat. Oh. Oh my God, what happened with I didn't even watch what happened with the Kentucky Derby. Oh, Scallon signature. I was like, scallop signature. He has a scallop signature? I'm intrigued. Scallon signature. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did play that out at NAMM. I played the 6-string, though. I'm a 6-string guy. Even the 7 strings make my brain hurt. EVH is just discontinuing the Stripe series? Interesting. I should try and score one. Some horse one? Yeah. That's what the odds are on. Thoughts on Bobby B's Breathe song? I don't think I know it. Nyquist by a good margin. Yeah, 2-1. He was the favorite. Yeah. Well, see, last year was just such a crazy year, with with the Triple Crown winner. It's just like so rare. So now it's on, right? Did I tell you, where I play it? B flat? Yeah, like right here. I tell you, USA Today reached out to me. They wanted to use the audio from me playing Call to Post in my video, showing you how to play Call to Post for their podcast. And I was like, sure, whatever. Whatevs, brah. I think this telly's staying on my chair tonight. What's the Kentucky Derby? It's a brutal sport where a bunch of tiny men whip the asses of horses for about a mile. Or a quarter mile. Whatever it is. As a kid, who did you first look up to as far as guitar players? Well, certainly the first one was the first one was almost most definitely Roy Clark on Hee Haw. He's like the first time I was even exposed to like guitars and guitar players was on that show. 1.25 miles. Yeah, it's a dick measuring contest for the rich. The funniest was last year when they, God, I can't even remember the name of the horse, but they went up to his stall, and a local guy from around here knew me. He's way into the horse racing, and he left local around here, and he was like so big. He was like the guy in their sort of waiting area, and standing right there as a part of the promotion was the King from Burger King. And let me tell you, that was about as creepy as it got. The dude just standing there like thumbing up the camera. I was like, dude, this is like surreal. It's like, how can I take you seriously when you've got the King standing, in the leading horse's friggin' pen. Oh God, I can't even think the favorite. American Pharaoh, thank you. Yeah, Roy Clark. Yeah, he was amazing, and I would see him and the other guy, Jerry, right? Jesus, that guy's the actor, he's player, he's everywhere, but Jerry Reed. But yeah, Roy, there was just something about him. He was sort of like just jolly and friendly and had a nice smile and a very pleasant guy, and he could play, and I just loved him. Just there's something about him just playing that guitar. I was like, wow, that is cool, Yeah, Jerry Reed. Yeah, and Buck Owens too, right? There was a few people. You ever play any slide? No, and that's a huge, glaring omission in my playing. I really have just got to buckle down and just, get a slide and a slide book and just go through the book. That's your fastest way. Just rip right through a book and just get to the end and see how fast you can get through it and learn all the riffs and then just sort of develop it from there. Yeah, Johnny Highland. Jesus, yeah, he's really good. Did you try Strandberg guitars at NAMM? I don't think I did. Eastbound and Down. Yeah, God, that was funny, huh? He's got he's got something new coming out, right? That guy, Danny McBride. Do you play any bass? Not a lot. I own a bass. I have an Ibanez, like Korean-made neck-through body. Like it's got a tiny. The neck is probably smaller than this neck. It's so small. It's like this ridiculously small neck on that Ibanez bass, and I love it. But I don't use it all that much. Do you like boobs? Absolutely. Kind of a boob man. Nothing wrong with boobs. Boobs are awesome. You know, I mean, I don't know about Christie Canyon boobs. I mean, let's not go crazy. See you, Mr. Bissy. Thanks, buddy. Do you ever take off your glasses? You know, I do when I have to look at something really close. And then I have other glasses. Hey, Terry. What's up, buddy? Yeah, glass slide. It's always the ones that you like first saw when you were like 14. You're like, whoa. See, when she hit the scene, I was probably 18. Have you ever licked your guitar in a horny way? Not in a horny way. I mean, let's not be ridiculous here. Play guitar with teeth? No, the last thing I need is another dental expense. No. When you start paying for your own dental bills, you don't play with your teeth anymore. What happened to the PV Pro video? It's still in the works. You know what it is that I can only record. It does not have a line out. It does, but I don't want to do it that way, right? Because that interprets what that sounds like to my ear. I want it to sound like I hear it, and the only way I can do that is to mic it, right? Because it doesn't have a speaker out that I can run out to my reload box. So the only way I can really do that is to mic it, and my ability to mic has been, like, every time I turn around, there's something going on. Either, you know, my wife is working from home and she's got to be on a bunch of conference calls and I can't make any noise, or the kids are home from school. We just had April vacation. It's like one thing after another. And it's like I haven't had a chance to do it. I recorded some, but I didn't like the way it sounded. It sounded really awesome, and I made the mistake of turning the amp down. And I was like, oh my God, it sounded great at the start. And like about 2 minutes in, I turned the amp down. It doesn't sound as good. And I was like, oh. So I went back and did it again, and I didn't remember how loud I had it, and when I recorded it again, I had it too loud. So, you know, I just gotta, it's a little bit of trial and error, and I can only do it, you know, like Monday through Friday during the day, and a lot of that time, you know, I gotta do things where I make money, you know, with businesses. So, you know, there's always that. I think you're right, Sinner. I think it is beer time. Oh, did I disturb the cat? You right over there? Yoni McYons? What are you thinking? No? I'm not using an amp sim. I'm using a preamp from R&R Amplification. That's on the Crunch channel. That's the lead channel. And that's the clean channel. I know what everyone's watching here. Why is Strat brighter? Because single coil pickups. Single coil pickups are brighter. because they run in parallel, right? And when you run something in parallel, you don't get it's brighter. When you run a humbucker, those are run in series, and when you run something in series, you that high end drops off, and the two pickups combine, so it becomes more like louder. I might have to get up and let her upstairs. Have you seen the sound check footage with ACDC, with Axel of with ACDC? I haven't, but I did see what's his name there, Angus Young, show up at the Guns N' Roses show and play a tune, and I thought they actually sounded okay. You know, um, it's it is what it is. You know, I think they felt the need to put someone famous out there and not an unknown after Brian Johnson was out. And what is it, 10 shows? And then it's sort of done. So, what's the cat name? The cat's name? That's Buffy. Because she has a buff coat. The beaver in the buff coat. Wild Audio thoughts. They look pretty interesting. Maybe a little too crazy for me. I'm sure they're really nice. It seems like they're pretty expensive, you know. I don't know what their final like MAPs are going to be, but they look like they're going to be several $1,000s, and it's going to be like a boutique brand, right? Well, Buffy was a male. I think it was two. I think it was a female and a male, and we called the male, which is more orange, Jody, and it was like Buffy and Jody from A Family Affair. But Jody was always sick, and Jody wound up having to go to a shelter. They didn't put her down. We went to a no-kill shelter. But part of what you have to do to get them to treat the cat for free, because it was a stray. We weren't going out and buying these cats. These cats were like pulled out from behind a shed, like like down on some land behind my parents' house. And so we sort of rescued the cats, but that Jody one always had like an eye infection, and we just didn't have the money to treat it. So you can go to the like there's one in Quincy that's like a no-kill shelter, and they'll do it for free. But you got to give the cat up. They're like, we're not going to like fix your cat and you get the cat back. Especially a kitten. They always want kittens for adoption. So and to get it off the street. So they said, we will fix the cat in exchange for keeping the cat. And we were like, all yours. But we kept this one. Oh, there she is. Giving me the eye. All right. Oh, now I'm getting the leg rub. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to go let her upstairs, and I'm going to grab a beer. I'll be right back. Ah! There we go. Come on. Keep going. Blue. That's a green. What's this? That's blue. Oh, that's all right, there we go. Seeing a lot of requests up here. Play this. Play that. Play the other thing. All right, hold on. I must have pulled that out. I'll put that right there. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sibilance. Sibilance. That's the clean channel. That's like a push, right? I'm using a Sennheiser. What are these? 558s, right? Yeah, Sennheiser HD 558. They sort of look like that. They look like that. But they have this nice... That's why you get them, so you can wear them for a long time. Because it has this... has that crap there. It's not like leather, it's like plush velvet. You know? There we go. Thanks. Says we tuned the guitar for you. Appreciated. Oh man. So yeah, I get this new preamp. You know, that's pretty awesome. And I got a couple of new pedals. Remember when I did that time core a few months back? It was like a delay pedal that did a bunch of delays. Now I have the mod core, which is the same thing but with modulation. So it's like, you know, flanger, phaser, chorus, tremolo, maybe a pan in there too. It's got a bunch of crap. You know. No, it's not a Bud Light. It's a Wachusett Blueberry. I probably got 2 of these left, and then I've got a... what else do I have? I got a new one. It's like a... It's not an IPA. It's just a pale ale, right? So it's not an India pale ale. It's just pale ale. And then I got the UFOs. The unfiltered. Yeah, soldering. It's almost said soldering a joint takes a few minutes. You know, the main thing about soldering is you got to prep. Like, you know, you need a jar of flux and you dip your leads in the flux and make sure you're all done because the difference is massive. And you got to pre-tin all your leads and, you know, it really does make a huge difference. People are like, I can never get it to stick. It's like, did you, you know, brush a little flux on there before you did that? I'm like, no. It's like, you know, there's like, you know, for a reason. I took metal shop in high school, and we worked with the big soldering irons, and we would use the capillary action, right? Because it would try to creep away from the iron to something cold. And, you know, you learn a lot about the material, you know, in a year of metal shop. You're primarily soldering. And, you know, you really learn that it's almost impossible without using some sort of treatment. You know, to pre-treat the metal. And it makes a huge friggin' difference when you're working just, you know, even on your guitar. Do I play drums? Not really. Maybe a tiny bit. We have a drum set upstairs for my son, and I'll play it a little bit, but I'm not really good. I'm pretty bad, actually. I'm much better with the pads, actually. I actually sat in with a band playing the pads one night because the drummer didn't show up, and I happened to have my drum machine. We just plugged it in, and I played the pads, but the pads back then were plastic. They weren't rubber. And I got blisters like on my fingers. Literally, these massive blisters on my fingers from playing those pads. What are your thoughts on guitar apps? They seem to be better with iOS than they are on Android. Having, you know, I own both platforms right now. Android still can't get the latency down. They can't do it. So you can't get like really good, like, you know, effects apps or anything like that. So in theory, Android should be perfectly able to do it at super low latency, but for whatever reason, they just can't get their act together. I was late. What are you playing through? I'm playing through a an R&R amplification preamp. That's the clean channel cranked up. That's the crunch channel. And that's the lead channel. Why do you always look slightly pissed when you're playing guitar? Because my fingers don't want to cooperate. I'm sending them instructions, and they're mounting a fucking mutiny on me. This R&R preamp is the SL/LD. SL/LD. It is killer. I'm running it through the effects return on the Loco X, and then into the reload box, and then like in here. So I get some of that 2B power amp goodness, right? But I'm almost thinking like I gotta try it at some point, running it just straight into the Focusrite, because I can do that, right? It's got so many outputs. It's so beefy. When I took that thing out, I was like, oh my God, this thing is like a tank. I think it either has 4 or 5 12AX7s in it. It's killer. And then the other one they make is, I think, called the DP13. And that's more of like a Marshall, like Plexi style. That's their 2 preamps. Then they make a preamp with a 200 watt or a 500 watt like solid state amp in it. And then they might make just a power amp. I'm not really sure with all their products, but this preamp is insanely good. I frickin' love it. There's so many options. It's got a full-on effects loop built in, and you have independent effects loops, I think. It's crazy. It's like so nice. Do you read music? Very poorly, but I can. But I got to do it really slowly. I got to sort of like work it out, almost like say it in my head, like a little bit, like the rhythm. And then work out the notes. But I can't just like sight read. God, no. I don't do it enough. Right? You have to do that like all the time to get really good at it. Yeah, R&R SL/LD2 preamplifier. That's it. Thanks, Gary. That's it. Yeah, they got them on eBay. And they are awesome. They're from Russia. Got it from the Russian Federation. Actually, a guy in Russia is also making me some custom picks. They look like, like a V pick or like a gravity pick. It's an acrylic pick. It's even got my logo on it. It's going to be nice. it sounds killer. Switch guitars. I don't know. I like this one. It's got the nice heavy strings on it. Been sort of playing this. The new Select model has a broken string. I guess I got the Strat, but I don't know. Isn't that sort of the same thing? How do you pinch harmonics so well? Well, you figure out it's the only thing you do well, and then you just learn the shit out of it. Right? Right? Upstroke harmonics. You need the right sound, too. It really is the amp, right? Because you need the... Then you end with a big... Thank you! We are baby metal. I forget Let's Go Crazy. I only remember... How did Kiss go? Jeez, I even forget it. It was up in the upper notes, though, you know. Using a cab sim with the preamp. I'm using a cab sim. I have to, right? Because the preamp assumes you're going to go into a cab. They're assuming you're running this like into an amp, and then that's going to go into a cab. So it's bright, right? It's a voiced bright. You need a cab to make it sound like that. And I'm running through a Rosen Digital 1968, Marshall 1960. You're pretty standard Marshall 1960. What's up, Shumanati? What the hell is that baby metal? I know. No one knows. We all just stood there going, I don't know what I'm looking at right here. What is this? What am I looking at? It was a room full of like a lot of old metalheads of all ages. There was a big giant mosh pit, and then there was this massive, as you would expect, Japanese contingency. A lot of Japanese teenage girls who were there. A lot of teenage girls in general who just like baby metal. And there were even some like young kids. I was like, wow. Yeah, 3 Sigma. That's the other one I use. 3 Sigma and Rosen. Those are pretty much my two main go-to IRs. Yeah, Gimme Chocolate. Right? So I think what happened, if you listen to their first album, you know, Gimme Chocolate is different from a lot of the rest of the album, but Gimme Chocolate was the huge hit. So their second album is like Gimme Chocolate 12 times over, right? I'm very close to that, right? That sort of formula kind of stuck. And very well produced and very highly produced album, absolutely. The second album, this new one, amazing album, you know. See you, Kelly. You think the guys dressed in white is a cultural thing. It seemed to me like they were just sort of like, in so-called like death metal with the black circles and stuff, that they were just sort of like zombie ghosts or whatever. I don't know. They do this, but they call it like, they put the thumb out and they call it like the fox god. My wife was so zooing me. She was like, "Oh, that's so adorable." I'm like, "Oh," she's like, "They sound so cute." I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to kill you." Am I a Muslim? No, I am not a Muslim. I'm not in anything. I abstain from believing in, fairy tales. Are you any good at chicken picking? Not really. Like that. No, just that. Oh yeah, I'm Catholic, but I was baptized. I went to friggin' 12 years of Catholic school, but 10 years of Catholic school. But that Banana Games, I thought you were leaving like an hour ago. Play some Guthrie Govan for us. Yeah, you play it. Yeah, you first, please. No one can play that. Guthrie can barely play it. One of the things when he rips like the Allman Brothers, so like almost like a circular pick. Oh, like a banjo roll style finger picking with a really fast pick and other fingers. I can't do that roll style. I can't do that. I don't. That's one thing I really got to work on. But there are some people that get pretty good sound without doing that. But I noticed that like all the big shredders, like all the guys who can really do it, like Chapman does it, and Nick Johnston does it. And that guy, like, what's his name? Like, Marshall, Harrison, something like that, Or, they do this, they claw at just the right moment when they're moving through. And man, it's just, it hits that one note they have trouble picking. And then it just all falls into place. That, like, hybrid picking. I can't do it. Yeah, Jeff Beck. He's a huge influence in me and my playing. Absolutely. Jeff Beck, Yeah, Marshall Harrison. Yeah, he's crazy good. He's almost like on just like another. You ever watch some of his like equations where he's like just working out like all this like equation stuff, and I'm like, oh, dude, you're on another level, brah. Yeah. I forget it now. Yeah, he's like Marshall's like a theory alien. His playing is like just so crazy accurate, right? It's almost like a synthesizer. It's like a sequencer because it's almost too perfect, right? What do you think of Steve Lukather? Steve Lukather's killer. He's a really good. He's a really killer player. I mean, really. I mean, come on, Steve Lukather. Can you tap a little bit? Let's turn on the tapping part. This is the one I always pull out, right? Something like that. Greg Koch. If you're getting, are you saying delay because of my delay here? Steve Morse lived down the block, saw him at a clinic. Yeah, he's a killer player. He's like a guy who just like, he's so technical and like so precise, you know, with his picking and with like everything. He's like really, really amazing player. He's probably written a few things that he regrets now that he's older, right? Like Sting. It's like, I really wish I wrote that in another key. Hello, Nick. Well, you know, that's Buckethead's thing. I think if he took the hat off, he wouldn't be Buckethead anymore. Right? You'd lose the persona. He seems to know what he's doing. He seems to be doing all right without any of our help. Can you still play a Mad Eevee solo? Sure, bro. Actually, I got to break that back out again. I got to find the drivers for it. They don't give you the nice drivers downloadable. It's like if I don't find that, I know I made an ISO, right? I made an ISO file of the disc at one point because I was so worried about losing it. So I can always find that. And Windows 10 can mount ISOs directly now. Freaking sweet. I can just mount that ISO and I should be able to install it, no problem. Chickenfoot's getting back together. You know, I don't get Chickenfoot because in theory, they should be like my favorite band, right? It's got Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony and, you know, Joe Satriani. I mean, it's just like this unbelievable, you know, band of a bunch of people who I really like in other projects put together. I don't know. It just doesn't gel for me. I don't get it. What's up, Iowa? Stevens is awesome. Do you still have the Radius? I have one Radius. I owned two, and I sold one. And I still have one. So, yep, I got one. In fact, the Radius is right there. See it? It's red. See it right there. There's the Radius. And then Ibanez LP. And then RG 760. And then I don't know what else is after that. Bark at the Moon. Oh, wait, I gotta do this. I love that riff. That's a good one. That's a good one, Ozzy. I know you claim you wrote it, but you probably didn't. I love this guitar. Thoughts on kill switches for guitar? I might add one to that to the GVH Chinese EVH there, you know, the Chan Halen, the Chan Halen, you know. It's just so intriguing, you know. Nice red dot. I can learn Jordan. Yeah, J.K. Lee wrote that, right? You know. Again, back to the lead. Play any Warrant riffs? Not off the top of my head. I probably knew some back in the day, but none are coming to my brain right now. Opinion on Gibson Deluxes with the small, like the mini humbucker. I kind of think those are cool. You probably need one in a set, because the mini humbucker does have a slightly different sound, you know. So, I like them. It's good to sort of mix it up. Your 50 Strat, you made me go buy one. That happens to a few people. Just started getting. You know what? I didn't know it, but I actually need one of those. Is that a fractal pedal you're playing through? No, I'm playing through an R&R amplification tube preamp into the Fuego X as the power amp, into the reload box to get the audio where it won't blow up my interface, into the computer where I add a cab and the effects, and then back out for your listening pleasure. Yeah, let's go with what Joe says. I love this amp. I love this preamp. I could play this preamp like all day and all night, and I have been, you know. Am I out of tune? Yeah, I gotta go to drop D, right? I got a bad feeling about that G string. 20 of your kids play guitar. Mine are completely uninterested. Yeah, you know, mine aren't really interested in guitar. My son's actually a pretty good baritone sax player, and he's taught himself a bunch of riffs on piano just from ear, which I could never do at his age. And my daughter she's been playing the trumpet, and my God, just in the last year, ever since she joined the jazz band, she's really, I mean, she's whipping through those scales and the legato. I was like, man, wow. I mean, a couple years ago it was practically unlistenable, and now it's like, wow, that sounds really good. You know, it's just, you give it time, and, you know, you put the time in, you know, it does come around eventually. Can I show you the preamp? I don't know if I can. I don't want to lift this up because I get this all sort of precariously in here, and the last thing I want to do is unplug my camera accidentally here. But, yeah. Look it up online. It's by R&R Amplification. It's called the SL/LD. And they sell them on the eBay. You can get one right off of eBay. And they come out of the Russian Federation. And when I say it's built like a tank, a friend of mine was joking. He's like, it's probably built in an old tank factory. I'm like, maybe. But when I say this thing is built like a tank, I am not kidding. It is like, when I do the review, I'll have to throw it up on a scale and show you just how heavy it is. Like, even the foot switch, I picked it up. I'm like, my God. Like, I could do some curls with this thing. You know? Why no Axe effects? They're just too expensive. You know, if I'm being totally honest, I can't scrape up $2,500 to blow on an effects. I mean, that's a pretty good tone. I can live with that. F sharp? Yeah. Are you a Steel Panther fan? Damn straight. What about when Van Halen calls you up? Well, if they call me up, then I'll ask for an advance to buy an Axe effects. Greetings, Jimmy. Yeah, there's the BB. There's the box, but there's the actual BB-8 right there. A lot smaller than the box. Like, that's the box, and that's it. Granted, it's a little farther away. Was it? Steve, you should do an instruction video on how to set up a hybrid analog digital rig like you have now. I probably will go through and like just talk about how I have it all set up when I do the review for the preamp. Because how do you use it, right? How do you use a preamp if you already own an amp? And I'm using it the way you would run it into your effects return on your amp. And then you would use the preamp's volume. It has a master volume. And you would use that volume, you know, to control how loud the circuit's running. You know. Do you still have the Steel Panther Kramer? I do. I do still have the Steel Panther Kramer. Yeah. I remember. Are Iron Maidens good? I don't know. I haven't really listened to them. They certainly have a following, though. Someone thinks they're good. One down. Thanks for all the amazing vids over the years, Steve. Oh, thank you, man. Much appreciated. The new line of Steel Panther Kramers is rad. It actually has a nicer neck than the regular standard classic, right? They give it the nicer neck on the Steel Panther model. That's for sure. It's more money, but you get the nicer neck. First song you learned to play, I generally consider Iron Man the first song I ever learned how to play. Because, you know, I learned tons of songs before that out of the Mel Bay book, but a song that, like the first, like outside song I ever learned how to play was I remember I was going like you know, like, and I remember my uncle came over, my Uncle Jack, and he goes, He goes, hey, how's the guitar player going? And I said, good. He goes, yeah, you learn anything? I said, yeah, I learned Iron Man. I go, I learned how to play Iron Man. He goes, oh, let's hear it. And I go, and he was like, what the hell was that? He's like, that was awful. Like I'm 14. He's like, dude, that was terrible. He's like, what the hell was that? I was like, oh my God. Thanks for the vote of confidence, brah. See you, Mike. Blitzkrieg bought by the Maroons. Someone else showed me so I would play that. I can't even remember it. I thought it was. And it was Planet. It wasn't the Peter Gunn. It was Planet Claire. I don't even know if that's right. But that's how it was shown to me. You know. Just sell some of your chipsons for your Axe effects. You can't. I can't sell them in the U.S., you know, and I don't need any shenanigans from that, you know, so I probably won't sell them. I mean, I probably could do it, right, without any problem, but I don't even want to just go there. I'd rather just hold on to them. It's like, whatever. It's not a lot of money. What am I going to sell them for? If I sold all of them together, it would be like half the cost of an Axe effects. So I don't think that's the path to it, but, you know, we'll see. One thing's for sure, Axe Effects isn't going to give me one. You know, they're pretty tight with that stuff. But paint over the headstock, yeah, maybe. You might be right on that, actually. Because the body's just different enough where you could make an argument. Say, well, actually, it's not exactly like it. Yeah, Monsters too, but Monsters is right. What DAW do you use? I mainly use Sonar. I don't have the new one. I ended with X3. That's the latest one I have. I never got into the one after that. Because now they went to like a subscription model. It was like, it got all crazy. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just stick with the one I have. There was nothing particularly compelling about the new producer edition. So I was like, whatever. Batman theme? Thoughts on Roland Boss pedals? Boss has been around forever. I mean, they make a ton of pedals. I think I had their delay pedal. Pretty sure I had a metal zone. I've used a few of their pedals. I probably had... No, see, the chorus, I had the... I don't think I had the... I think I got DOD. Or Digitech, maybe. Digitech might have been what I had for a chorus. And for the distortion, I use a lot of times an MXR Distortion Plus or an Ibanez Tube Screamer. Yeah, I could sell them as the Pixins. You know. They have the 60s theme songs, you know. That's not 60s, so that's like 30s. modulate, right? Yeah. Barney Miller, yeah, it's I think shit. Yeah. Something like that. Tales from the Crypt. I don't think I know that one. Dukes of Hazzard. I don't think I know that one either. I'm surprised I don't. Or like you say, like Andy. You know, like the Andy Griffith Show. You know, it's like I used to know that back in the day. I used to use so much chorus back in the day. Yeah, we all did. Who didn't? You know, that was the sound. That was the 80s sound. The 80s sound was just a ton of... That's why the JC120 was such a popular amp. You know, it was just like so hugely popular because of that chorus. You know? What was it? I feel like it's supposed to be like... something like that. Yeah, the Simpsons theme, you know. Well, I always do that medley. Flintstones. Right? And then you go like that. Minor. Major. And then when you hit here, it's like the one on the Simpsons. And then you'd go like halftime. Something like that. Inspector Gadget, I don't think I ever learned that one. Love Boat, God, I should know that one. The Love Boat. So friggin' 70s. That and Fantasy Island, right? Leave It to Beaver. Yeah, I never learned that. Is your like for ebony feel or looks? A little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. I think sometimes ebony's the only thing that looks right, like a square block inlay Gibson guitar, like their custom look. You know, it doesn't look right without ebony, right? When it's rosewood, it just doesn't feel right to me, you know. But for the most part, it's just like the feel. It's like super smooth, you know. MASH. Can I play any Spinal Tap tunes? I used to know a whole bunch, actually. SpongeBob theme song. I know that. Too many. Harmonic and McCormick. Castle and McCormick. Well, you guys getting a little esoteric on me here. Malcolm in the Middle. Right. That was a famous song, though, right? That was actually a release song. You're Not the Boss of Me, right? WKRP. Gary Holt, Lowrider, right? Yeah, right. Lowrider. God, I used to know that. Sort of like a minor blues, right? Where do you get all the money for all this stuff? I have a job. Certainly not from YouTube money. I earn it like more in like a day at my day job than I do in a month on YouTube. So, you know. And he's easy top. What do I do for work? Mainly IT. I do some legal services work as well. Yeah, Sinner, I agree. The articulation of the chords, I mean, I love this preamp. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Parasite. Right. That is a good one. That's probably one of my favorite Kiss songs. Might be one of their heaviest other than She, right? Oh. Yeah, War Machine is a great Kiss tune. I always thought it was. But I heard them playing it recently, and I that's not right. Yeah, I'm slightly wrong. Are you using? I'm using the R&R preamp, the R&R amplification preamp. It's the SLLD preamp by R&R amplification. Sounds good, right? what's the difference between a preamp and an amplifier? The preamp is like the gain and the knobs and everything, but not the amplification itself. The power amp section is missing. So it's just the preamp section of your amp. So the part of the amp where you get all the tone, all the distortion and all that, that's the preamp. And then the power amp just raises the volume of that. That was a killer Vietnam protest song, you know, and about a guy who comes back from Vietnam and like just becomes a complete junkie and winds up, I don't know if it's explicit in the lyrics, but winds up, probably killing himself through heroin addiction, right? Hand of doom. Buying a Panama amp. I want one with 2 channels. Any suggestions? Well, the Fuego X is out. The Loco is just a 1-channel amp, so that's not going to cut it for you, though that's probably my favorite amp by them. I think the Fuego X is killer. It's a higher gain amp. I think it's more versatile than the original Fuego because it can get more gain out of it. That's coming out real soon. There's also the Shaman, which is a 2-channel but 4 voicings. So each channel has 2 voicings, No, you don't have to oil it. You don't really have to condition this neck at all. They seal it up. Signed, sealed, delivers. Yeah, I got the preamp from Russia. Man, I love this guitar. I really do, man. I love this guitar. I can't get enough of this one. It just plays great. And you know what? It's the 11s, right? They're just right. They're just that right feel. I'm probably gonna move up. Like 10 will now be my low. I used to use 9s and 10s, and I think I'm moving to 10s and 11s. That's gonna be my official range for strings. Do I dig it more than the Rosewood Strat? Recently I have, because I've been playing it more. But yeah, I really love this guitar. There's something about it, not the least of the fact that it's from my wife, and my wife and I are very much in love, and so it's like, plus my wife bought it. Don't underestimate that. Do you think there's a big difference between solid state versus tube? I don't believe there is. At low volumes, there really isn't. At low volumes, no one, I don't think, would be able to really tell you a big difference. But when you raise the volume of that amp, you will hear a difference. Because the solid state just, it clips in a different way. It's not the same gentle clipping, right, that a tube will do. So there's just something about, there's almost like a bark or a howl that sort of blooms as you raise the volume. So that's why when they do it on like the modeling amps, like what does Kemper do with their solid state? They use a 600 watt amp. And why do they do that? Because come hell or high water, they don't want that thing to clip, right? Because it just won't clip well. So that's the difference. So solid state can sound amazing. I've heard some wonderfully great solid state amps. You know, the Viper 100 is a killer amp. I love that amp. It sounds amazing. I had a buddy over last weekend. He couldn't believe it. He was like, wow, that thing sounds amazing. The problem is if I really crank it up really loud, you know, where it wouldn't be like drummer volume, it would be like exceeding drummer volume. It starts to break up kind of harshly. You know, all solid state amps do that. You know, they've gotten a million times better than they were, but I think they figured out to like use, like get your sound in your preamp and then like pump as many watts as you can into the power amp, so you never have the power amp clipping. That's where the early solid state amps always kind of sucked. When that power amp started to clip, it wasn't a good sound, you know, and it would change its tone a little bit as you turned it up. It never was quite the same, you know. Tube amps handle that volume so well. That's why we love them so much, you know. And the other thing is I have played in situations where I was playing a solid state amp and the other guy was playing a tube amp, and for whatever reason, just the voicing on his tube amp, he cut through the mix a lot better than I did. You know, if I wasn't mic'd up, I would have been screwed, right? His amp just was cutting through that mix. You know, it had that like that mid push that the solid state amp just couldn't get. I was more like saggy, you know, than that, like a little bit more of a mid sag. So anyway, well, we're 8:58. We've been going 2 hours, guys. I think we got to wrap it up. I really appreciate everyone coming out. So why don't you tell me where you're from? We'll give this a... do a 3-hour show next time. I'd love to. My wife and kids are out at a play. They went to go see Robin Hood at the high school. So, you know, they'll be coming back. We got a couple of Vegas, Finland, Maryland, Nebraska, Caucasi, Houston, LA, Louisiana, Australia, Maryland, Scotland, Jersey, Melbourne. Wow, Melbourne. Connecticut, Texas, Ohio, Texas, Glasgow, UK, Wisconsin, Kentucky. Thanks so much, man. Frederick, Maryland, Illinois, Portland, Toronto, Ohio, Georgia. Thanks, buddy. Good night from Devon, UK, Netherlands, Edinburgh, Atlanta, Montreal, San Francisco, Pluto, of course, Montana, Virginia Beach, North Carolina, Nebraska, Netherlands, Regina, rhymes with Regina, Honolulu, West Coast, Austin, Texas, Canada, Central Mass, Greece. Hello. Actually, good evening. You're probably middle of the night. A couple of Ontarios, a couple of Canadas, New York, Sweden, Torville, Atlanta, Bulgaria. Wow, Bulgaria. Thanks for staying up, Bulgaria. Maine. I know I could keep streaming, but all good things must come to an end. Ontario, Luxembourg. Thanks. The tone was off. I thought the tone off tonight was really good too. Thanks so much. Oh, thanks, Artie. I really appreciate it. We gotta keep it alive, right? Korea, New Zealand, Brampton, Seattle, Lowell, Oregon, of course. North Jersey, not South Jersey. North Jersey. Houston, Texas. Mike Stanton from Ithaca. Halton Hills. Happy Mother's Day, yeah, to everyone's mom. If you're lucky enough to still have your mom. Happy Mother's Day. Scotland. It's 4 in the morning in Greece. Thanks so much, buddy, for staying up or getting up. Either way, really appreciate it. St. Louis, you know. And we got Amplitude 4 the next stream. I don't think I have that one. Austin, Texas. Thanks, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Reese. I really appreciate it, buddy. Yeah. Saskatchewan, Sydney. All right, guys. I really appreciate everyone coming out. And I thought we had a great night tonight. And I'll see you guys in a month. We're going to do these the first Saturday of every month. So I'll see you guys in 4 weeks. This was the new rig tonight for the first time. And I got to say, I really liked it. So I'm preparing my mouse to kill the feed. So. All right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. And as always, rock on.